welcome back to Cowbell Stars Book Reviews. This is the first one I've done in a while, as I don't know if you watched the videos where I've explained what I do, but I'm a nurse. I was doing some night shifts for agency, and I've now got a new job as a clinical manager of a 90-bed aged care facility. So I haven't had much time while I'm getting into the hang of that, but I'm back on it now. Thanks to Audible. I don't have as much time to read books as I did on my night shift duties, but now that I'm working full-time during the day, Audible has come in great. I can listen to that while I'm doing my jobs when I'm not working with people and just doing the computer side of it. So this is what I've done with this book. So today we'll be looking at a Bryce Courtenay book. This one is called Matthew Flinder's Cat by Bryce Courtenay. Now you will see here I'm all cozied up as we're just going into winter in Australia. So let's get on to what this book is about. Billy O'Shanassy, once a prominent barrister, is now on the street where he sleeps on a bench outside the State Library. Above him on the window still rests a bronze statue of Matthew Flinder's cat, Trim. Ryan is a 10-year-old, a near street kid, heading for all the usual trouble. The two meet and form an unlikely friendship, appealing to the boy's imagination by telling him the story of the circumnavigation of Australia as seen through Trim's eyes. Billy is drawn deep into Ryan's life and into the Sydney underworld. Over several months, the two begin a mutual process of rehabilitation. Matthew Flinder's Cat is a modern-day story of a city, its grime, the plight of homeless, and the politics of greed and preservation. It is also a story of the human heart, with enhancing glimpse into our past from the vantage point of a famous cat. Now, I did like this book. I found that the plot was actually a little bit different to what it said on the back. Originally, when I read it, I thought this was going to be a book about a young boy and Jero, as he calls himself, man, and they were going to tell stories about this Matthew Flinder's cat, and it was going to reflect their own lives in kind of some way, and by telling the story they were both going to make each other's lives better. Now that did happen, but there was actually some extra content that it didn't even mention on the back. There's actually a one of the main storylines is it goes into a pedophile ring mystery, basically. So I suppose trigger warning there if you someone who doesn't like to read about those type of things. If you are, then I would suggest not reading this book because it does get into that as part of its main plot course. So I really love the bonds between this man and this boy. It wasn't sexual at all. That was not the pedophile ring part. He was actually kind of the hero in trying to get this boy out without giving too much away. And I really love the symbolism in the story too, because as I said before, and what I guess the plot was going to be about, the symbolism of the story that he told this boy kind of helped them both in discovering their shortfalls in their life and giving them that extra motivation to make their lives better, to obviously make this Jero's life. I call him a Jero because that's what he calls himself, and it's a colloquial word in Australia, but he's a homeless man, so Jero means homeless man. And it made him think back on how he became this way, because he was actually, before he was an alcoholic, a homeless man, or as he calls himself, a Jero, he was a high-profile lawyer. And this boy is obviously just starting out and is mixed up in quite a horrible family that isn't very supportive. So to hear the story of Matthew Flinder's cat, as well as this great story and bond between this homeless man and this boy setting out in their life, or in the terms of the Jero, bringing his life back together. It's a feel-good book, and I would recommend it. As we do stars to rate the book out of 6, I would give this a 5.1 stars out of 6. So if you want a feel-good book, which is light-hearted, even though it does have some strong plot points, such as the pedophile ring, this book's for you.